Hi diamond painting friends, Jessica here with Tiny Worlds of Wonder. Now today I'm going to give you a little disclaimer right up front. Our video today is not going to be lots of fun, but it's going to be really important. Just so you have something to look at, I'm going to be working on a little project here on camera, but this project isn't really what today's video is about, so I'm not going to be sharing too many details about it here. Be sure to check the link in the card up above for information on this canvas. You can see the unboxing, and it's a canvas that I'll be sure to share more of later. If you've been a viewer of the channel for a while or a subscriber for a while, you may notice that my channel content has decreased significantly over the last few days, from almost 70 videos total to just over 20, I believe. I'm truly making this video with a mix of sadness, some loss, and more than a little embarrassment. YouTube creators do what we do because we love creativity. Most of us know that we aren't going to make a lot of money from our channels. We do what we do because we love to craft, we love to create, and we love to share our passions with other people. And I have put 11 months of work into my channel now, more hours than I can really count, and a lot of creative energy. So what I'm about to share feels really painful to me, but I recently had an experience that led to a huge wake-up call, and I think it's important that I share it with you here. Now, I don't anticipate that this video is going to be very popular. In fact, I expect it to probably be my most disliked video of all time because what I'm about to say to you is not going to be easy to hear, especially if you're a person of good conscience and good moral character who loves this hobby as much as I do. And that's okay. This wasn't easy for me to hear or discover. What I'm about to tell you is really important. Pardon me. Especially if you're a fellow YouTube creator or you're active on any kind of social media. So, quick disclaimer here, this video is not intended to give any kind of legal advice, and I am not a lawyer. So please talk to a real live professional lawyer if you have questions about the information I'm about to share with you. So for this reason, I'm not going to be answering questions in the comments. I'm not just ignoring you. Just think of it as encouraging you to do your own research so that you can make sure that the canvases you have kind of follow the guidelines that I'm about to give you here, if you would like them to. So here's the background of what led to this massive downsize in content and hence this video. Last Friday night, I got a notification on my channel that I had a copyright strike and that a video I created had a ton of views. A video that I created that had a ton of views, over 70,000, had been removed because of a copyright claim on a diamond painting I showed in the video. So this was not for the music, but for the painting. And I know exactly which painting it was because when you get a copyright strike, the claimant has to give really detailed information. I bought this canvas from an Aliexpress seller who is very popular, who has a great reputation, and who I thought was really reputable. And I guarantee that many diamond painters and creators have purchased kits from this seller and unboxed them on their channels. And so at first I felt really angry that my video was removed and really confused and really sad. And I had a really restless night of sleep worrying about all kinds of things because that's just the kind of person I am. Whether someone had targeted this video just because it had so many views, or whether I had truly unknowingly violated copyright, or it was an unfair accusation, or whether I had any liability in the situation, all kinds of things. I really was completely bewildered and had absolutely no idea what was going on. But my go-to method for dealing with stress has always been to dig for information and to really dig into facts to make sense of things and to help make sense of my feelings. So I spent many hours over the next few days researching copyright basics, looking at YouTube's terms and conditions, doing reverse image searches for all my diamond painting kits, looking for artists and their licensing, and even contacting these artists and sellers on Aliexpress and looking long and hard at where the situation really stood and whether that report was fair or not. And I have to say that what I found shocked, devastated, and angered me. When I first started diamond painting and first started my channel, I had no idea that there were huge copyright infringement issues in the diamond painting world. No idea. I was just having fun. I was buying beautiful canvases on Aliexpress, looking for creative canvases, showing them on my channel. Now, as time went by and I gained more experience, I would have had to have been living under a rock not to know that some diamond painting companies on Aliexpress use images they find online without artist permission. And I think we all try to avoid these blatant ripoffs, like Mandy Manzano's, for example, that we know are exclusively licensed to Diamond Art Club. I think all of us know that we have to be cautious on canvases like that. But I truly was under the impression that many of the diamond painting sellers I was buying from overseas were using legally licensed images. Because how could they possibly be selling massive quantities of stolen intellectual property online with absolutely no liability? Again, call me naive if you want to, but I truly had no idea of the extent of the copyright violations. Not many, but most diamond painting sellers on websites based in China engage in. None. I had no idea. Again, call me naive. I am no dummy, but I tend to believe the best about people and that their intentions are as good as mine. And maybe they are. Maybe these sellers don't know anything about US copyright law. Or maybe, and I think this is the more likely scenario, they're making a quick buck because it takes tons of money, resources, and power to go after international corporations. And that's just money that a lot of artists don't have. On another hand, I think I felt a sense of removal from the process in the sense that as a consumer, there's not an easy way to know if a diamond painting kit is legally licensed or not. After all, I'm not the one creating or selling it, but I really didn't realize how much potential liability I think there can be for sharing images on any social media platform without the creator's permission. And I believe this especially impacts YouTube creators and even those of us who post pictures on Instagram or Facebook. YouTube has a 3 strikes and you're out policy, as in you lose your channel. And Instagram and Facebook also have policies against posting images you don't own the rights to. It's really serious, and as I understand it, can have serious consequences, not just ethically, but for your ability to use these platforms. And not to mention the effect that it has on the artists whose copyrights are infringed. YouTube's terms of service make it clear that it is a YouTube creator's responsibility to know whether the content we show on our channels is copyright protected before we post it. So, you guys, in my research, I found an article that just sent chills down my spine, and I wish I could find it again, but I've looked and I just can't seem to. But it talked about an artist's worst nightmare and how she had discovered that her artwork had been uploaded by an Aliexpress seller and was being sold as quote-unquote diamond art. That's what the article called it. So that anyone in the world could reproduce it without paying her for it. And the listing shown in the article showed exactly the kind of generic diamond painting listing that's standard on Aliexpress. These are the canvases that we are buying from Aliexpress and CES deals and all of these foreign sellers. These are canvases that some of us show on our channels and provide links to and encourage other people to buy. And some of these are the canvases that we've seen 4,000 times on other channels and assumed they were legitimately licensed. I started researching all of the diamond paintings in my stash that I'd purchased from Aliexpress, doing reverse image searches and trying to find out if these were artists that typically license images or have copyright policies posted online. And I seriously felt like I had been stabbed through the heart because I realized that I had, completely without knowing it, been participating in something that is really damaging to artists and really downright unethical. Because, you see, I contacted the artists and asked them. Yes, I asked them. Almost all of them. Even those I had to use translation software to communicate with, which was a little interesting. And most responded within a matter of hours. They were all very upset, and 100% of them told me that their images had been stolen by these companies and used without their permission. So, if I could be liable for one copyright strike on YouTube, there were surely some more potential strikes waiting in the wings. As I understand YouTube's user agreement and the basic rules of copyright, even displaying a picture of these unlicensed images in our videos is a violation of the terms of service that we agree to when we create accounts. And these violations could endanger these social media accounts at the bare minimum. And like I said, that doesn't even speak to the harm done to the artists whose work is illegally reproduced in this way. Now, I did reach out to a few sellers on Aliexpress to ask what their policy is for making sure that the artwork they use is legally licensed. I reached out to big, reputable companies with big followings that are very popular all over YouTube. I should have known that it was an exercise in futility, probably, but I got a thank you as the only reply to one of my inquiries, nothing back from most of them, and one at least took the time to tell me that they refuse to sell branded merchandise because it's banned by AliExpress, and as for the rest, they just remove any merchandise the creator requests them to. So in other words, the intellectual property of artists is fair game unless they can track down every infringing seller and ask them to remove the item. That is ridiculous and so incredibly unethical. It just boggles my mind, and I feel like a dum-dum for having no idea, literally no idea. Now, I'm not here to dictate how you live your life or how you spend your money. You guys have been around the channel a long time. You know my style, hopefully. You know that I'm not out to get anybody. If you're a creator, I'm not going to judge the kind of content you create, and I'm not going to be on the lookout and targeting people or calling people out. But I do want to take a minute to throw a bit of a red flag here, both because I care about artists and because I care about you. Rampant copyright and intellectual property infringement seems to be the norm rather than the exception on diamond painting channels. And it's not just our canvases, if you know what I'm saying. I know that we shop where we shop because we feel like it's what we're able to do. It's what we can afford because stores sell kits that we like. And honestly, I think as citizens of a country with stringent copyright protections, we may assume that we can rely on our consumer laws to protect us from these kinds of problems, like they usually do here in the US. But that is just not the case. This copyright strike opened my eyes to the fact, truly, that if we're choosing to support sellers on AliExpress and other foreign websites without knowing that the images we buy are legally licensed, we are participating in theft. If we're directing people to purchase these unlicensed canvases, that's an even bigger problem, ethically and in every other way. And it is our responsibility to know because we could be liable across all of our social media platforms. Now, that is not easy to say because I'm a pretty soft-spoken and laid-back person, and it's not easy to hear because I truly believe that most of us are really good people with strong moral compasses who would never knowingly engage in any kind of unethical behavior. I know that is true for myself. I would never knowingly engage in something that damages another person. But I have definitely lost sleep at night over this, and that's exactly why I'm making this video. Honestly, this copyright strike was the best thing that could have happened to me because it sent me on a fact-finding mission, and I didn't like what I found. But now, at least for myself, I can change it. So, what do I want to do? Here's what I've decided. As of this moment, actually, as of several days ago, I have removed every video on my channel since the channel began that contained artwork by a current living, breathing artist that I'm not 100% certain has been paid royalties for their work. Some of these canvases may have been legally licensed, but I'm playing it safe. And as you can see, I have very little content left, and there may be some big consequences for that in my subscriber count, but I truly don't care because it's the right thing to do. Chances are I might not get caught if I kept posting canvases that I thought were legally licensed from Aliexpress that were not, but it's just the right thing to do ethically. The content I have left is content I feel good about sharing, even though I might be lacking in some context and probably some continuity, and I'll feel good about all the new content I produce. As of this moment, I will not purchase a kit containing artwork or show one on my channel or social media accounts that I'm not 100% certain is legally licensed or in the public domain. Does that limit what I can buy and where I can buy it from? Absolutely. A ton. So much. Do I feel sad and upset about that? Tremendously. I feel devastated by it. So much so that I seriously considered shutting the channel down because I don't know what I'm going to show or where I'm going to find it. I know I'm going to pay a lot more for what I do find. It's going to be way less convenient and frankly a lot less fun. And I'm genuinely sad about it. And it means erasing videos that I created for 11 months and literally throwing them in the garbage, deleting them forever with no backup. So yes, I feel sad about that. And I refuse to review products that aren't legally licensed. I just won't do it. I'm going to be doing a lot of copyright-free customs. I'm going to be looking hard for sellers to create them for me who don't produce stolen images. And I have no idea where as of this moment, but I'm looking into that. Diamond Art Club just started, I know, to produce some customs in limited sizes. So that might be a possibility in the future once they kind of get the kinks worked out of that process. Mini patterns from Heaven and Earth Designs are on my radar, along with DIY Moon Shop that does artist collaborations. Treasure Studios Arts looks like they license their images. Dreamer Designs licenses their images, and of course Diamond Art Club. I'm still going to be working on images here on the channel that I already own that don't have copyright issues. And I think the most important thing when you know better is to do better from that moment forward. So that's what I'm committing to do. Like I said earlier, I anticipate that I'm going to get some angry and defensive comments on this video. And I know I'm probably going to upset or worry some of you who post a lot of images online. This is really hard to hear, and it's hard to feel like you're being told that you're doing something wrong when you're a really good person and you're really well-intentioned and you just had no idea about any of this mess that's going on. I know if you're on a limited income, it's hard to have someone tell you that the things you feel like you can afford are problematic. But please remember those canvases are cheap because the seller isn't paying any royalties to the artist. It's literally taking food off the artist's table. So I feel like for myself, even though I have limited money to spend on canvases, I'm not going to be able to feel good about buying and finishing those inexpensive canvases anyway. Now again, hear me when I say that I'm not here to judge you and your personal choices. And if you've bought canvases like this in the past, I do not think you're a bad person. I don't think I was a bad person. I just didn't know better. And I think a lot of really good people out there just don't know the extent of this problem. So these are my personal choices, and I'm sharing them with you here because I feel like I need to explain where all my content has gone. I'm trying to view this as an opportunity to create more fresh and creative content for you and maybe bring in a wider variety of original craft projects. I'm trying to look at this as an opportunity so I can keep my chin up, frankly, and not feel like it's all been for nothing. Huge thanks to all of you for not judging me too harshly over the last 11 months while I figured all of this mess out for myself. I would really love you to join me in renewing our community's commitment to supporting artists and their rights, because as consumers, we have a lot of collective power. If you'd like to be a more careful consumer, here are some things you might consider trying. Reverse image search every image before you buy it. Not every listing on Aliexpress contains stolen artwork, but it's our responsibility to make a reasonable attempt to find out, and it doesn't take very long. Websites like Google Images and tineye.com make this really fast and easy. I'll link to a great video I found up in the cards that shows step-by-step how to do reverse image searches, along with tips on the kinds of images that are likely to be problems. I found this really helpful. Be sure to research copyright enough that you have at least a working knowledge of the basics. And again, I'm not a lawyer, but you can find some really decent general information just by Googling. And I will link some really good articles I found below as I was researching all of this. Look for the artist's name in the listing before you buy the canvas. Sellers who legally license their images are usually proud to do so and list the artist's name prominently in the listing or on the cross-stitch pattern. If you can't find it anywhere, that is a big red flag. The seller either hasn't looked or doesn't care, or they don't want to know. If the canvas contains character branding like a sports team logo or movie characters, and it's really inexpensive, it is almost certainly illegally produced. Licensing from big corporations is really expensive, so the seller of the $12 canvas from Aliexpress is probably not paying any royalties to Disney. Use copyright images to create customs. See my video on this, I'll link it up in the cards. Branch out and try diamond painting from licensed patterns like Heaven and Earth Designs, or reach out to artists and ask their permission to use their artwork like Robin did at Distracted by Diamonds for her Drills and Chills canvas, and be prepared to pay something for it. If the artist says no, don't use it, and let them know who you plan to have print it, because you don't want it to be stolen by the seller you send it to and find it on AliExpress later. And last but not least, support reputable sellers. I know as well as you do that they're more expensive because some of their profits are paid back to artists in the form of royalties, and they usually have a much more limited selection. But money talks, and we want ours to end up where it morally and ethically needs to end up, back in the hands of artists. As I mentioned earlier, I am really sad about basically stripping my channel and my stash, permanently deleting hours and hours of work, trashing all my plans for upcoming videos. But I'm looking forward to where the channel is heading. I feel pretty good about it, and I'm looking forward to being a little more creative in how I bring you content from now on. I know I won't be perfect in this process, so I ask your forgiveness in that. And I know I'll make mistakes, but I am really going to try to do better. If you'd like to join me in raising awareness on this big, hairy, scary issue in our community, will you head over to Instagram and post a photo of your favorite legally licensed or public domain diamond painting with the hashtag copyright-free-DP? Let's see how many fantastic images we actually have to diamond paint legally. And if you're a seller of diamond painting kits who creates legally licensed images, will you post on that hashtag as well and tag me so I can find you? Thanks for watching all the way to the end of this long-winded, epic diamond painting rant-a-thon. I'm sending you tons of love, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.